Cursing and using foul language is something that some Christians can struggle with. And on top of that, is cursing really that bad? I mean, we hear curse words all the time in our music, our shows, and in our conversations. So could it be possible that cussing can be okay in some circumstances? To help with the confusion, here are 7 points that every Christian should consider when it comes to the topic of cursing or cussing. Point number 1, Christians need to control the words that they speak. James chapter 1, verse 26. If anyone among you thinks he is religious, but does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is useless. In this passage, the author of James tells believers that if there's anyone that thinks they're religious or a holy person that follows God, but they don't control the words that come out of their mouth, then this person's belief in God is worthless and empty. And James goes on to say that this person is deceiving themselves into thinking they're religious, but in reality, they're not at all. And what I love about James is that he doesn't beat around the bush and he tells things for how they are. So if there's someone who goes to church or a Bible study and they pray, but they make no effort to be mindful of the words that come out of their mouth, James would look at that person and say, your belief in God is worthless. And while that sounds harsh, we need to see where James is coming from, because in the book of James that he authored, he talks about how faith without works is dead. And he encourages Christians to think about their faith, and then he challenges them to consider if their belief in God is truly authentic. And he says that if a believer doesn't make attempts to follow God in the way that they live their life, then James would say that their faith is dead. Now, I'm not saying a Christian needs to be perfect in their speech, but what I am saying is that there needs to be some effort and mindfulness concerning the things that come out of their mouth. Because if we're Christians, Jesus should be the Lord of our words, and that means we need to take great heed to what the Bible has to say about our speech. And should someone not care about what they say and they let their words flow uncontrolled, it's evident that God isn't the Lord of their life, rather, they are. And if they say they're Christians, they're only fooling themselves. So, why does James make a big deal out of words? I mean, they're only words, right? Look at point number 2. Our tongue is evil and has the immense power to destroy. James chapter 3, verses 4-6. Look also at ships. Although they are so large and are driven by fierce winds, they are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot desires. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire by hell. In this passage, James uses ships and their rudder as an illustration for people and their tongue. And he says that in the same way that a huge ship is directed by a small rudder, a person's direction in life can be affected by their little tongue. And James continues and says that the tongue is like a fire, and that it can act as a stimulus that can cause a forest fire. And then James says